Rationalize the denominator of each fraction and simplify. In exercise A, we have 6 over the square root of 5. So now, for reasons that are beyond this course, historically we have not liked to have radicals in the denominator of a fraction. And so we use a technique called rationalizing the denominator. Now, if that denominator is a monomial radical, say for here we have the square root of 5, all we have to do to rationalize the denominator, to make it a rational number, is to multiply it by itself. So I'll multiply the denominator by the square root of 5. But as with any operation with fractions, if I'm multiplying the denominator by a certain number, I must multiply in the numerator by that same number. So now I can write 6 times the square root of 5 over the square root of 5 times the square root of 5, leaving the numerator alone, and using previous experience, we know that the square root of 5 times the square root of 5 is 5. And so we have 6 times the square root of 5 over 5. Now, you might be tempted to reduce these 5s, but they are not 5s. The denominator is a 5, but the numerator is the square root of 5, and they are not the same thing. So we cannot reduce, and in fact we leave the expression as it is. Exercise B, we have 2 times the square root of 7 over the square root of 10, and again we are asked to rationalize the denominator. So again what I will do is multiply by the equivalent denominator, so the square root of 10, and remember to multiply in the numerator by that same quantity. So my new numerator is 2 times the square root of 7 times the square root of 10, and the denominator is the square root of 10 times the square root of 10. Simplifying the numerator, I can write that as 2 times the square root of 70, and the denominator is 10. Now we should ask ourselves if we can simplify that radical. Square root of 70, does 70 have any perfect square factors? And it does not, so we'll leave that alone, but we can reduce between the 2 and the 10. They both have a factor of 2. All right, so let's do that. Reducing the 2 by a factor of 2 leaves 1. Reducing the 10 by a factor of 2 leaves 5. So we can simplify this as the square root of 70 over 5. Exercise C, we have 5 over 2 times the square root of g. And we might be tempted to multiply by 2 times the square root of g in both the denominator and numerator. And while that will work, we would have some extra work that we would have to do in the end. So notice that the 2 isn't really the problem in that denominator. The square root of g is. So we will only multiply by the square root of g in the denominator, and equivalently in the numerator. So this gives me 5 times the square root of g in the numerator, and my denominator is 2 times the square root of g times the square root of g. So this gives me 5 times the square root of g over 2g, and I can't reduce anything, so there's the simplified form.